Good morning, fam. Yeah, that's a new one. That's right. No peeps today. Fam. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. October the 28th. It is a Wednesday or Wednesday. Never figured that one out from when I was a kid. When I first learned it, I'm like, that's got to be wrong. That's not Wednesday, that's Wednesday. Wednesday. Okay. 28th. If you can't manage your own mental attitude, what makes you think you can manage others? Ooh, shots fired across the bow. Why is it that often those who believe they would be the best managers of others, if they were only given the opportunity, haven't learned to manage themselves properly? Before you can ever have any hope of managing others effectively, you must first learn to set an example for others to follow. It is simply impossible for you to inspire others to high levels of achievement if you cannot inspire yourself to do the same. Don't make the mistake that many others make by saying, when they make me a manager, I'll show them. That sounds weak as hell, doesn't it? I'll show them. When they make me a manager, I'll show them I can manage. The first move is yours. You must first prove yourself worthy. A couple things here. If you're in a 9-to-5 still, and you don't want to be, that's on you. You should make the move and start at least part-time doing a side hustle, and it doesn't have to be real estate. I talk about a lot about real estate because that's what I know, that's what I did. But any side hustle that brings you enough money, the goal should be supplemental income, make some extra bucks, get yourself some spending money above and beyond your salary, your 9-to-5, and then the goal is to systemize that, delegate, outsource, and get the side hustle built up to the point where it replaces your income and you can quit your day job and maybe start a second side hustle, right? And then on, or build the first side hustle into a big business and focus on that and go full-time with that and replace your job with that, but never replacing hours for dollars, because that's what you were just in. That's what you're trying to get away from, right? So that's number one. Now, past that, I would say if you are stuck in a 9-to-5 job and maybe you want the security, the safety of that, whether that's real or imagined is another video, another day, but whatever, you want the stability of a 9-to-5 job. You work for a Fortune 500 company, they're not going to go out of business, they're not going to be laying people off, which is, I don't know how you know that, because it happens, especially when the effects of Corona. Unless you work for Walmart or Amazon, you know what I mean? Everybody was hit pretty hard with COVID. So if you are in that situation, if you want to impress the higher ups, the best way to impress them is show that you are independent and self-starting, self-motivating. You're low maintenance as a worker, and if you do that, you definitely will catch their attention, upper management, and eventually be promoted. Now, one of the things I hated about working in corporate America, remember I did it for 13 years, so I'm familiar with the cubicle jungle. Wasn't a fan, and one of the things I didn't like was there was a lot of politics. And I don't mean Republican, Democrat. I mean, a lot of times people got promoted not because of merit, right? So I wasn't as involved in that because within 2 years I had become an independent contractor, consultant. I was doing computers. So I was an employee for the first 2 years for AT&T. And then went on my own, started my own company, went what they call 1099, independent contractor for the rest of my 11 years. But I worked in places where I saw the politics going on. So it's difficult but not impossible. And once again, the way to do it is, like he said, show your boss that you're more valuable in your position. Before I got here to this restaurant, they had hired a lady from Myanmar, Burma, it used to be called, and she was hired as the maid. They had 4 staff plus the owner working in the kitchen, so they were fine. But they needed somebody to clean the guest rooms when the guests checked out. We got 9 guest rooms, so that was a full-time gig, especially in season, which we're in now. And this was pre-COVID, of course. And was such a good worker. Honestly, she's the best worker we have now. Just straight up, she's the hardest working person. And I noticed, as the owner, I noticed that I can see clearly her effort level and her commitment to her job is up here, and the rest of the girls are down here. And it's not bad on the other girls, it's just is outstanding. So the old owners saw that, just like I saw that. And when they lost a worker quit after 13 years here, this lady had a disagreement or something and moved on. Okay. They promoted because they saw how hard a worker she was. And she's my best worker. So they saw it, I see it. If you work hard and do a great job and really pour into it, you will get promoted, and she did. She's not a maid anymore, she's a cook. And steady work, full time, all that. More money, you make more money as a cook than you do as a maid. And there's always like right now we don't have a maid because COVID, where the most we've ever had is 3 people in the guest house. So we don't need one. We don't have one right now. So she would have been out of a job, but because she worked hard in her job, she got promoted to another job, which we do still have cooks here. Even though the restaurant's light, we still have customers. So, and of course the plan is for me to go to Chiang Mai, right? As always, that was been the plan from day one. So, we need a full staff here. I'm not going to go down and cook because then I have to be here for the restaurant to run, and that was never the point. I don't want a job, I want a business, and I've known that from day one. So that's why I didn't let anybody go, when we came here, because this thing needs to run on its own, and is an integral part of that. So, yeah, good stuff. True. Once again, I speak from experience, and with the restaurant, and yeah, if you're going to be an employee, which being an entrepreneur, I don't say this enough probably. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It's risky, especially if depending on the person you are and your commitment level. It takes a lot. I mean, it takes more work to be an entrepreneur than a worker. Being a worker at 5 o'clock, you shut down. Entrepreneurs don't shut down at 5 o'clock. The difference is you're working for yourself, so you have a passion for it, and you want yourself to succeed more than you want your company to succeed. I mean, it's just human nature. It's more work and more worry and more hassle for sure, but more reward, right? More risk, more reward, which is pretty standard across investing and real life. So that's it for today. Another good topic. I mean, I'm really happy I got this book, and if you want to pick it up on Amazon, that's it. Positive Action Plan, Napoleon Hill, 365 meditations. I'm reading this backwards. Making each day a success. Good stuff. I'm getting a lot from it. I hope you're getting a lot from it. And that's it for today, kids. Have a good one. So Chiang Mai countdown, 2 days. Today's Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday we leave for Chiang Mai, and I'll be doing my Friday morning thing. Well, I'll be doing my Friday morning. Thank you. I'll be doing my Friday morning thing here, the green screen, because we leave Friday afternoon to go down to Chiang Mai. So Saturday morning I'll be in Chiang Mai. Loy Krathong, I'll do videos on the Great White Buddha channel for the lantern. It's really cool, like I said, 2-foot lantern, lighting it up in the sky, just watching 1,000 of those things up in the sky. I saw it last year. That was our first date. And we did the boat last year. We bought a little banana leaf boat and sailed it down the river, lit a candle, whatever. So this year we're doing the big lantern. I'm excited, looking forward to it. And just chilling in Chiang Mai for 6 days is going to be fun. You know, big city, a lot of restaurants like I talked about. So hashtag good times. There's a Japanese place. I'll do a video on it because I've been there twice now. And I took some pictures and posted them on Facebook, but I didn't do a video. I'll do a video. There's a Japanese teppanyaki place, similar to a shabu, where you have the little dome, and you know, shared with a charcoal fire underneath, and it's shared in the table, in the center of the table. And they got Wagyu beef, you know, which is just that heavily marbled, fatty, delicious beef. I mean, it's funny, people eat steak and they don't realize what they're eating the steak for. It's not necessarily the meat, they're eating it for the fat. The fat is what tastes good. It's a disgusting thought, but it's true. It's the marbling on a ribeye, you know, that makes it taste better. Although people who eat fillets, like I usually get filet mignon, and there's not very fatty at all. That is just beef. But people who like ribeyes and porterhouse and tomahawk chops, they're fatty cuts of meat. So Wagyu is a high premium cut of beef with lots of fat, lots and lots of fat, just little veins running through it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not big hunks of fat, like big circles of fat. It's little tiny marbling veins, thin, very small, thin marbling, but all over the beef. And they cut it super thin at this Japanese place, like the wafer thin, and it literally cooks in 10 to 15 seconds. You just eat it through, so it's not raw. And oh my God, they give you 3 or 4 different dipping sauces. They give you vegetables, and it's out of this world. The last 2 times I've been to Chiang Mai, I didn't go, and I don't know why. And it's cheap too. I mean, Wagyu beef is super expensive, and you get 6 pieces. Once again, it's wafer thin. That's why you get 6 pieces for 190 baht. So like $6 for Wagyu beef. You know, I mean, it's a deal. It's a smoking deal. So I'll do a video on that place and on eating the Wagyu when I go down this time. It's one of my favorite places in Chiang Mai. I really do. I look forward to it. So that's it for today. You all have a good one. Once again, I guess I should make this a tagline because I feel like I want to say it every day, is try to be a little bit better, spiritually, emotionally, physically, health-wise, mentally. Try to be a little bit better every day, just a little bit. And then every day, it compound interest, baby. It adds up. Have a good one. Be good.